pitch down your voice to bring some dramatic effect.
And now to explain review. And now to explain review. And now.
So when I showed my home office a few days ago on LinkedIn, a lot of people asked me about what is that thing under my monitor. Stream Deck is a device for streamers. I'm not a streamer, but there are more and more people using the Stream Deck as a tool to make their workflow easier and smoother. I'm going to show you a few examples of how I actually use it. So at work, we have a lot of micro boards, but really a lot of micro boards. Therefore, what I wanted to do is to be able to access my most used boards in just 2 clicks. It works like this. I just have this micro icon on my Stream Deck home screen. I press it and I have all of these buttons linked to a specific board that I set up and that I use often. You just click on one of them and it will just open the board in your browser. The main purpose for me with the Stream Deck is time efficiency. If I can do something in 5 seconds instead of doing it in 30 seconds, I will go for it. You can also automate things to just in one click open several links. If you have a certain workflow that every morning you start with the same tools, and in just one click here, I have access to all of them very, very easily. Also, I'm a Mac user. There is one thing that I preferred on PC is screenshots. One key on a PC, a combination of 3 keys, which requires some finger gymnastics on Mac. It's over. I just configured this combination of keys on one button on the Stream Deck. So if I just click here, and that's it, it's saved in just one button. Also, I'm a Scrum Master and I spend a lot of time in meetings. I also have this Elgato webcam, the Facecam Pro. I like to work sometimes standing up, sometimes sitting down. I have a stand-up desk. I can just control the settings of my webcam just through a couple of keys. So if I just go to the webcam screen, so the webcam tool that I set up, I can just adjust the zoom of my webcam. If I can just show the more wide angle or zoom way more, I can just do it in a few keys. Also adjust the position, left, right, up and down, obviously, and I can just come back always to my initial settings in just a couple of keys. It just takes me a few seconds at the beginning of the meeting to just make sure that I'm showing the image that I want to show, and everything is adjustable from the exposure if you want more or less lighting. In addition to this, I also have this Elgato key light right next to my webcam. I can just also in one key turn it on or off. You might not see a big difference for now because there is also the natural light that comes from my left part. But if I come closer, you will see that this part is a bit darker. And if I do this, it's getting lighter. And I can just also, of course, adjust the intensity of the light to combine a good lighting and also not getting too annoyed by the lights in front of my face. I will just turn it off for now. Okay, this might feel really overkill, but I like to do things that most people don't do. So I set up this kind of soundboard that I use in meetings. Is it useful? I don't know. Does it bring fun? Yes. Does it surprise people? Yes. So I go for it. For example, if I want to announce something, a change in something that we will do, I will just go with this one. I also have a lot of very funny colleagues, and this one is also very appropriate. A lot of other ones just to exaggerate some reactions or some emotions. With one of my teams, when we are doing our sprint reviews, we always start with a specific song for my team, Panoptics.
And now to explain review. And now to explain review. And now.
Once again, is it useful? I don't know, but it's super fun to do. There are also a lot of effects in the Wavelink app from Elgato, which is totally free. You don't need to have a specific expensive microphone. Just a regular headset works, but in just one click, you can also just
Pitch down your voice to bring some dramatic effect.
and in the same style, you can also just
Pitch up your voice for a more funny effect.
Lately, I've also been exploring a lot with OBS. I'm pretty sure that I'm only at 10% of the possibilities, but in the same styles that I'm using Wavelink to have something between my mic and Teams, I also have the same with the webcam. So when I'm in meetings, the image that people see and it's not coming directly by the webcam. It transitions through an app called OBS, which is also an app for streamers. And thanks to this, you can also just tweak the image that is coming from the webcam. So you can add elements to it. You can replace the webcam image from a video or from a GIF, or just change the way that people see you in meetings. For example, if the conversation is getting a bit too long, you can just throw an elbow right in front of your face. It's in your webcam, which means it's also a bit a different effect. and you can just do all types of maybe not so useful, but like this special effects if you want to appear super dark and scary and frightening. It's also something I can now do in just one click. You can also totally change the way you're sharing your screen for something more creative. For example, if I press this, just in one key I can just share my screen in a different way. What people will see here is it's not a regular screen sharing, it's just my webcam, which means I can just spotlight myself and appear in full screen, and my picture and my screen are integrated together because I set it up this way in OBS. There are also a lot of basic functions that you can use on a daily basis, like just pressing play pause to control your media, adjust the volume, cut, copy, paste, cancel or redo, open a window tab. It's all configured by default when you receive your Stream Deck. I also do a lot of video editing on DaVinci Resolve. If I just open this part of the Stream Deck, I can open the app, I can open specific folders in my computer, which stores my video files or my sound files. I can in one click apply a certain preset to a certain element of my timeline, for example, and also just go from one workstation to another, cut, edit, sound, etc., etc. I can also just see at all time at which percentage the processor of my computer is getting used, currently 25%. If I press it, it will just open the activity monitor to show me exactly what is using what. So that's it in a nutshell how I use it, which doesn't mean that it's the only thing that you can do with a Stream Deck. Set it up in the way that works for myself, for my usual way of working. If you are doing a different job, you can just adapt it exactly to your needs. And this is the thing that I really love with with the Stream Deck. If you want to talk about it, just drop me a chat, drop me a message, ask me for advice. If you want to give it a try, I'm pretty sure that you will not be disappointed. Meanwhile, with or without a Stream Deck, have fun.